I loved, Amanda, that the Prime Minister was very direct about we're not going backwards when it comes to COVID and how we're dealing with COVID. Again, to those Freedom Party people, he was absolute about whatever that UN garbage was, not going to be doing it. Yet Albo says, new national strategy. Remember, that new national strategy would be written by the Queensland Labor Premier, the Northern Territory Labor Chief Minister, the Western Australian Labor Premier, the South Australian Labor Premier, the Victorian Labor Premier.
Let's be frank, Australians have had 2 rotten years at the hands of COVID and premiers who overreach, using it as an excuse to use fear as a tactic to cultivate their own popularity. Now, that's a wrong thing to do. And for anybody who's concerned about the overreach of governments into the lives of individuals, the choice here is very, very clear. You can have Mr Albanese, who wants to keep the door open to wield those powers for the foreseeable future and in unclear quantity, or you can have the PM who says, we've closed the book on COVID and we are living alongside it. We are not going back to lockdowns. This brings me back to a point that I think is really important in the Senate. Those who are tempted by the UAP might think that it's a good thing to go with Clive Palmer and his mates because they've told them everything they want to hear about individual freedom. But the truth is, none of that matters when you're standing on the sidelines. What matters is that you've got people in the rooms that matter who care about your freedom, people in the rooms who matter who are prepared to do the right thing. You get that in the Prime Minister. You get that, for instance, in somebody like me in the Senate. You don't get that with minor parties who are big talking.
Now, a reminder to everyone, by the way, particularly in Queensland, you can choose your own adventure. You can pick the 6 senators that you would like, as opposed to straight up and down party voting. So if, like me, you're a big supporter of Amanda's, feel free to find a way to get her into your 6 that you can pick in the next little while. Just finally, before we go, Bronwyn, a little bit of mail that you received today. Yes. Has it changed your vote?
Certainly not. I was stunned to find this in my letterbox this morning.
Yeah, wow.
And criticism of the local member, Mr Flensky, who will be elected. But to find that being put about by saying that a former Liberal Prime Minister is supporting people against our own candidates, I think is just plain shocking. And I think that will work against the Teal people,
correct.
as Simon says. But clearly this is all authorised from Melbourne. Oh, no, I beg your pardon. This one's from Sydney.
Yeah. But all I know, just a very happy
It doesn't matter. It's a Simon Says leaflet that's been put out. But I just want to reinforce that point that you've made and has just been made on the importance of that second preference. It really does matter. You know, there have been many politicians who've given me advice over the years when you're saying, if you're standing for pre-selection or if you wanted this, always ask for that second preference because you're still in the race. And that's what can happen. That is what can bring success to the coalition.
I'm with you. Choose your own adventure in Queensland. Let's keep Amanda in there and you can have all the other options you wanted. Thank you very much, guys. Do appreciate it. All the best.